Hello, old man Steve here. And, I've told you about that I lived in New York City in the 1960s when I was a young man. I'm from Texas, had never been outside of my house, never traveled anywhere. And I left home right after high school and went to New York City. Because that's where my friends went, and all my friends were in show business, did theater and stuff like that, and that's what I wanted to do. But I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I didn't know whether I wanted to be an actor. I didn't think I was talented enough to do that, but I wanted to be in show business in some form or fashion. And I did get a job after I moved to New York and worked in summer stock, and I've told those stories here before. This story is about after summer stock, I came back into the city, and my new friends, I had a group of friends that we did everything together. We went to movies together, to see Broadway shows when we could afford it, and went to the clubs. Some of them in our group were gay, and we would go to the gay dance clubs, and we were young. I was in my early 20s, and I had never done anything like what I was doing, and it was fun. And we went to parties. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. I went to a party, and there was somebody said there was a celebrity there, and I didn't know who the celebrity was, and it was Andy Warhol, and I really didn't know who that was at that time. I mean, of course, I found out, but he was kind of, I thought, kind of weird looking and odd, and he kind of stayed to himself, but there was a group of people that was always around him, and boy, did they like to party. And I didn't know whether he was shy or if that, I didn't really know. I didn't really care. Anyway, that was the first party that I ever went to that he was there. And then later we got invited by somebody that in our group that knew somebody to a party at a place called the Factory, which was Andy Warhol's studio. That's where he did his work, but it's also, he partied there from time to time. And somebody in his group said that he wanted to meet me and wanted me to become part of his group. Well, I didn't know what that meant. I was very naive from Texas. I had never done it a lot before, so I wasn't really sure. And my friends that were with me, they said that I probably should decline. I don't know, decline what? I don't know what I was declining. But anyway, I thanked them and I said, no, I'll pass. I said, but it's a great party. And we had fun, and I remember we drank a lot. I don't remember any drugs. There probably was drugs around that I just wasn't aware of. I never did them. And our little group it was about 5 of us, that we never did drugs. We drank a lot, but that was pretty much it. So I had an opportunity to be in Andy Warhol's group, I guess you would say, whatever that meant. I later found out, of course, who he was, and he became very famous during that period of time in the 60s. And, well, he was already somewhat famous in the early 60s when I met him, and I just wasn't aware who he was, and wasn't impressed with him because I always thought he was weird looking and never had much to say. I think he was maybe shy. I don't know. I really don't know. But anyway, our group, we partied, and we would go to the clubs and dance. And there was a girl in our group that was dating one of the guys, and she was always with us, and she was a very pretty Greek gal, and I kind of had a crush on her. But she was a girlfriend to one of the guys, and so I never, But I found out later, much later, maybe a year or so later, that she wasn't a she was a he. I didn't know what that meant. I never knew. I just thought she was a pretty young lady. I still think she was pretty. I still think of her as a she. I don't know if she was transgender. I didn't know what any of that meant. And people didn't talk that way back then. I don't know. It was just another experience that I had. Anyway, that's my story, and I thought I would share with you another one of my New York stories. Y'all have a great day. Okay, bye.